What's up, people? We are back with more Eden. In the previous video, surprisingly, Lavi called us kind, even though we like sliced her wrists half off, and yeah, so that was kind of unexpected. And one thing I did have to say is that, remember when I said last video that I was gonna try like lightly tapping your cheeks or whatever when you wake up? That shit does not work. I'm either gonna have to try to just completely slap myself in the face in the morning just to see if that works, which probably does, right? Or you'll just end up hurting yourself. But then again, you'll wake up from it, so that technically would work. But just lightly tapping or whatever, I'm calling bullshit on that. It didn't work for me this morning. I was still so tired, and it didn't wake me up more than I normally was. So yeah, alright. I think we were about to enter Sion's room because she woke up from a nap. So yeah, let's continue. Sion, I'm coming in. Aw, look at her sitting on the edge of the bed. I paused a moment after knocking, then entered the room. Sion was always telling me there was no need to knock, but I couldn't bring myself not to. I did what I could to maintain a minimum degree of etiquette. Good morning. Sion was sitting in bed, already changed into her regular clothes, but still looked sleepy. Morning. How's your fever? Fever? Oh, now that you mention it, I did have one. You look alright now. I held my hand against the forehead just in case. A perfectly normal body temperature. You got better pretty quickly. Okay, I'm off. She said quite suddenly and jumped to her feet. You're leaving? Where? Outside. Come with me. Well, sure. I quickly overtook her and opened the door. What about breakfast? I want a breath of fresh air first. I'll think about everything else afterwards. Understood. Ryou. Yeah? She grabbed onto the hem of my shirt. Were you in front of my room the entire night? Yeah, I suppose. It gets so cold at night. Wasn't the hallway cold? It was nothing. I set up camp outside her door last night and sat there all night long. I took care to make as little noise as possible, but it sounded like she noticed me. She has wall hack or something, man. Her perception of things is just so incredible that she can just see and hear the littlest noises and just see through walls or whatever. So even if you were to do your quietest, she would still notice it, so I don't blame him one bit for being noticed. I woke up once in the middle of the night. I could kind of tell you were there. Thanks, Ryou. I just felt like doing it. She may have told me to be free, but I didn't know the meaning of freedom. That's why, for now, I would protect her. And to that end, no matter what Maya's motives might be, there was no downside in remaining vigilant. There's no way it would just end happily ever after once I took you from the research facility. I know. But a sense of responsibility and kindness are two different things, Ryou. It's fine either way. It's enough for me as long as I can protect you. I see. Sion cast her large eyes downward and whispered sadly. You and I are each our own person. Just don't forget you have no obligations to me whatsoever. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Ryou is not doing it out of obligation. The lax breeze rocked the green fields back and forth. Sion's clothes caught the wind and flapped as she slowly walked. It had been a few days since she'd made it as far as this hill. There was an amazing view from the top, but the slight slope was formidable to Sion, who had virtually no physical strength. I think I love this spot because I can only come here once in a while, Sion quietly whispered. Her words didn't seem as though they were directed at anyone in particular. It's such a lovely spot. Maya, what are you doing here? No, it's okay. Now you notice it? Maya and I were walking in a short distance from Sion. We didn't want to get in her way as she enjoyed the scenery. So this is your and Sion's sanctuary, huh? And you're the one who so rudely trampled your way into it. Ryou. She shot me a mildly miffed scowl. I told you not to torment her. Are you having fun or something? Not at all. This woman's the type that'll let it go to her head if I go easy on her for just a second. Aww, I wish you wouldn't think of me like that. I happen to think Ryou is correct. You two act like I'm a nuisance or something. Did she really expect to be embraced in open arms after sort of being intruding into our cottage, our field, our place, our mountain? In contrast to Maya, who was quite down, Sion seemed like she was having fun. She was in a good mood because her condition had improved? Or was she? Sion held her hand out to the wind. Such a nice breeze. I feel like I could fly if I had wings. Her tender whisper melted into the breeze. It was almost seemed like her entire being might wisp along with it. Her long hair fluttered in the breeze, revealing just how tiny her figure really was. She looked as if she were an inhabitant of a dream. It really is beautiful. Maya gazed at Sion. She stood perfectly still, almost like she'd even forgotten to breathe. Suddenly, I had a thought. Could Maya truly have just wanted to meet Sion? Did she appear before us only to desiring to hear her story? That was what I felt when I saw the dreamy look in Maya's eyes. It still wasn't enough of a basis to trust her, but... Maya... Sion spoke in a serious tone, still looking up at the sky. Yes? Tell me everything you know. Afterwards, I'll answer as many questions as you like. Is that okay with you, Ryou? Yeah, do whatever you wish. Sion smiled sweetly and combed through her hair with her fingers. For some reason, my heart began to race at the sight. Are we getting little butterflies in our stomach, Ryou? A large bird was gliding through the sky, chirping loud and clear. I was sitting on the ground, staring idly at the bird's movement. Sion was seated right beside me, so close our bodies were nearly touching. She stared at Maya, looking deeply intrigued. Maya remained seated in front of Sion and didn't speak. She seemed to be having trouble deciding where to start. Just ask whatever you want. Sion will understand you even if you're more or less all over the place. Yeah, that's true. I just got kinda nervous when I realized I was talking to Sion again. Maya looked rattled and her smile turned stiff. Sion was staring straight at Maya. I'm trying to think back whether I actually was calling her Mia the entire time now. I'm not sure, but I think somewhere along the line I changed it to Mia, but now I realize it's Maya again, so Maya. Alright, let's go. Saying nothing all the same. Let me get my stuff together. She hastily retrieved a small notebook. Oh, alright. She put on glasses and nodded to herself. What kind of glasses are those? Oh, the shape of it. It almost looks like a bud. She put on glasses and nodded to herself. Wait, do you have poor eyesight? Just a little bit. I can get by fine without them in most cases, but I wear them while I'm working, Maya said as she opened her notebook. Wow, they make you look kinda smart. What do you mean, kind of? Maya sulked as she shifted her attention to Sion. Maya's expression quickly turned serious. Yes? Sion inclined her head slightly. I knew you were pretty from the shots I've seen, but now that I see you up close like this... Maya blushed for some reason. Isn't it a little late for that? You've been looking at her plenty since yesterday. This is the first time I've seen her with my glasses on. True that. And it's also the first time I've gotten to compose myself and sit face to face with her. Yesterday I was threatened to no end. I was totally freaked out. Whose fault do you think that is? For the most part, Haruna, you're... Maya, there's no need to rush. You're right. First off, incidentally, I told Sion what I had heard about Levi from Maya while we climbed the hill. The behind-the-scenes search for Sion being conducted by the military has already been called off. Straight to the heart of the matter, Sion murmured in amusement, not looking the least bit surprised. Somehow, you don't seem surprised. I considered it as a possibility. Didn't you as well, Ryou? It's not like I hadn't considered it, I just thought it had a very low probability, so I didn't really take it into account. Did they declare me dead? Yeah, they did. Maya pulled up patches of grass from the ground, unable to hide her bewilderment. And here I thought I would be the one with the surprises too. There are very few scenarios that cannot be predicted. Mankind was able to foresee even the end of the world. Well, isn't that like an easy thing considering it's a giant flashing thing in the sky? Like it's I mean, sure, you have to do some mathematical and the not asteroids, but the what are they called? I guess astrophysicists, whoever, like, you know, astronomers, those guys, they probably have to like try to predict the trajectory of the asteroid and that sort of mumbo jumbo and stuff. But when you see that in the sky, I'm pretty sure the first thing that comes to mind is like, holy fuck, the end of the world is coming. So being able to predict that isn't that big of an accomplishment, I feel, considering, remember, when was it, 2012 or whatever, whenever the Maya predicted the end of the world? There have been numerous occasions where the humans, quote-unquote, predicted the end of the world, but it hasn't really happened yet. So it's like, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So if you just keep saying, yeah, it's the end of the world, end of the world, end of the world, then eventually you're gonna be right. Was there an official announcement? Yeah. There was an announcement from the executive committee of the evacuation project. Starting from there, Maya began to recount the whole series of events in detail. Sion's death was officially announced approximately 1 month after we fled the research facility. The cause of death, an accident in the middle of a test. Most people couldn't contain their sorrow for the sudden passing of the Earth Evacuations Project driving force, but it did not impede the project itself. In fact, it seemed on-site morale went up as they headed into the final phase, with members saying they would make the project a success to carry on the dying wish of their leader. All the same, there's no way I'd die in an accident like that. Couldn't there have been something unavoidable? If I were delegating commands firsthand? Impossible. Well, that seemed to be enough for the people of the world to come to grips with it. A few skeptics have popped up, but they're in the minority. Let me guess, she's one of them. I can wrap my head around them declaring Sion dead, but why did the military abort the search in the first place? What do you mean? Maya looked astounded and shrugged her shoulders. Even Sion's eyes looked mystified as she stared up at me. I'm betting it's because the two of you concealed your whereabouts flawlessly. In other words, the military ultimately lost us after all? According to 2nd Lieutenant Lavie, requests for reinforcements were delayed due to all systems, communications included, going down at the research facility. I heard the system being taken down was your doing as well. It was a different person who wrote the base program. All I did was run what was prepared for me. Alicia-chan! Oh no. Sion sent a fleeting glance my way. Yes, the program that rendered their facility's security inoperable and single-handedly gave Sion her freedom was something my sister had prepared. Oh, really? Natsume did that? I thought it was Alicia, or maybe it's both, or maybe Alicia took over from Natsume after Natsume started the program basically, and Alicia just finished it, or I'm just completely confused about something entirely else. My sister protected me, protected us. Haruna, what's wrong? No, it's nothing. In any event, the military gave up awfully easily. That struck me as a bit odd as well, but it's understandable, because there's no time left. I see. I looked up at the sky. Though it was daytime, the star above us was shining a sinister red. The fate of the world became clear when that red star appeared. This world will end soon. They have to expedite the final phase of the evacuation. There were scarcely any units remaining on the ground, so they couldn't spare any personnel to search for Sion, huh? That, and one more thing. I think the government, servicemen, and the members of the evacuation project finally realized. A faint breeze blew against all the greenery around us. Sion basked in the wind as she smiled happily. The evacuation project could finish safely without me around. I had become expendable. There's no way you're expendable! Mankind was saved because you were there. Everyone knows that. My role ended years ago. I just withdrew to the outskirts of the stage and waited for the curtain to drop. No, the curtain's already been lowered. That's just... Maya looked downwards and shook her head repeatedly. Since she came here to collect information on Sion, I was sure she had a vested interest and respected her, but... Sion... Maya suddenly lifted her head and approached Sion. They were the same eyes she had when she chided me sharply at the lakeside. I came to make a curtain call. Collecting information, was it? What did you want to ask? About you. I want to know as much about you as possible. Why? Probably because I admire you. How interesting. For some reason, Sion's gaze was filled with anticipation. Could it be she had been seeking someone's approval? Wanting to interview her because she liked her was something I both could and couldn't really understand. That's why I want you to let me interview you. I want you to tell me about yourself. In that case, you should stay here for a while. Huh? You might just figure something out if you watch me living my life here. I won't be held responsible if you don't, though. That's okay. Sinking my teeth in good and deep is part of my job. Is that okay? This time it was Maya's voice that was filled with anticipation. Do as you wish. It's not like I could gather intel that could collaborate with her testimony, and not leaving to confirm any of it would be difficult, and leaving. It would be essential for me to be on a heightened alert, but I couldn't complain any further if Sion had accepted her. I wanted Sion to be able to do as she pleased, just as she had wished for me. I said to a certain someone who resided deep within my heart, this is for the best. The next morning when I entered the washroom, it was already occupied. Whoa! What are you acting so surprised for? Well, I didn't hear any footsteps at all. Maya was blushing, slightly embarrassed by how surprised she had gotten. At least knock. What would you do if I had just gotten out of the bath? She said hastily as she blushed an even deeper red, looking like she'd remembered something. Sion and I aren't in the habit of taking baths first thing in the morning. It kind of feels like I've been surprised by everything since the second I got here. At least it's not boring, right? Could I use that? I asked, pointing a finger at the wash basin. Oh sure, go ahead. Maya quickly moved aside as I turned on the faucet over the wash basin. I washed my face with water so cold it could crack the skin on your hands. Oh, it's so loud, the water. The last of my mild drowsiness was faded away. Phew. Okay, that's one thing that I can confirm works. Splashing your face with cold water does wake you up. Here. I took the towel Maya had held out for me and wiped down my face. You're an earlier riser than I'd have guessed. What's that supposed to mean? How rude. She puffed out her cheeks. You look awfully undisciplined at a glance. Actually, I was too excited to sleep very well. That kept up till morning, so I got up. You were up talking to Sion until pretty late. Try not to push her too much. I finally got an exclusive interview with Sion. It's a dream come true, so I wound up losing track of time. Sorry. Although she seemed apologetic, tinges of excitement were interweaved in her reply. You don't have to apologize to me. Maya had taken my place and listened to the continuation of her Scheherazade bedtime story. I was sitting in, of course, but since the majority had to do with Shion's work, it went in one ear and out the other. By the way, how long will you be here? I really wish I could stay forever. Maya looked uncomfortable and cast her eyes away from me. I'm going to board the final ship. Since I'm going to be covering the final ship's departure, you'll be covering the day mankind leaves this planet, huh? Sounds like a nice assignment. The long-running Earth evacuation project was finally coming to a finale. Covering the final ship would surely garnish a much greater degree of attention for her from the world at large. It was super rough competing to be the reporter on the last flight though. Maya shrugged slightly. But, you know, there's very little time until the final ship's departure. The port is a long way off from here, so I have to set out well ahead of time. I see. Hey, Haruna. What is it? Maya took a step towards me without warning and leaned in close. A sweet aroma hung lightly in the air, likely the scent of her shampoo or something similar. You know, I'm going to board the final ship. I got the message. There's no need to repeat yourself. But you and Sion will. Don't say it. I lightly grabbed Maya by the shoulders and edged her away. She had no intention of leaving my side. But, you came into this knowing full well about our livelihood here. Are you alright with that? I don't know about Sion, but at long last, I have a path in my life that doesn't involve stealing the lives of others. Pursuing that path is the only thing I can think of now. I couldn't really say I had found where I truly belonged. My sister, Alicia, and Sion. I didn't want to lose the place I'd finally reached thanks to those girls being there for me and leading the way. Maya pointed an accusatory gaze at me. She'd be better off ignoring me and just worrying about Sion. I realized something just now. Yes? Your face is kind of large, isn't it? What was that? Maya's eyes went wide as she turned to the bathroom mirror. My face? You've got to be kidding me! She patted her own cheeks and grumbled under her breath in an unsettled tone. That's ridiculous! Hey, that's right! Maya glared at me with a glint in her eyes. You've made a fundamental mistake. It only seems large to you because you've grown used to looking at Sion's tiny face this whole time, Haruna. Our bodies have different dimensions, so obviously my face is going to look bigger if you compare us side by side. I think it's also because of like the bangs and just her hair. So, definitely her hair as well, I think. But you know what? Let me say this loud and clear. Is this really something worth getting so frantic about? Upon closer inspection, tears were brimming in Maya's eyes. I'm quite the beauty with an adorable tiny face myself. Don't underestimate me. Maya declared passionately and went flying from the washroom. What a rambunctious woman. First thing in the morning too. Oh well, she wouldn't be here forever. Some hustle and bustle might be nice on occasion. Although it had just sort of happened on its own, I realized that I was treating Maya like a normal person. This came as a bit of a shock, and also, I found myself believing it wasn't so bad this way. Aww, look at this beautiful picture, both Sion and Ryou fishing. But this is gonna be the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. And in the next video, we'll see more of Maya's big face and this beautiful scenery. Alright, I'll see you then. Peace!